My name is Amara, and I'm 42. I run a house, a marriage that feels like routine more than love. A life built on schedules and silence. His father, my boss, Mr. Ajay, trusts me implicitly. His son, Obina, was never supposed to be more than polite dinners, friendly visits, passing hellos. But somewhere in those years, I started noticing how he lingered in the doorway when I cooked. How his eyes stayed on me a second too long. How, when I handed him coffee, he looked at me like I wasn't invisible. His hands pinned me gently, but firmly against the kitchen counter. His chest pressed to my back. The only light came from the stove clock, glowing faintly in the dark, casting soft shadows across the room. I gripped the edge of the counter, my breath catching as he leaned closer, his warmth seeping through my thin t-shirt. I felt his breath on my neck, steady, unhurried, like he'd been waiting years for this moment. He didn't stop. Neither did My body trembled as his hand slid over my waist, fingers tracing slow circles, sending heat straight through me. His lips brushed just below my ear, and I gasped quietly, my knees weak enough that I had to press harder against the counter. Just to stay upright. The hum of the fridge filled the silence louder than my own heartbeat, and I hated how much I wanted him to keep going. We'd imagined this without saying it. I knew it in the way he moved, deliberate and careful, like he'd pictured it too many times to count. My hands reached back on instinct, fingers curling into his shirt, pulling him closer. When he pressed forward, the weight of him made me shudder. I shouldn't be here, I whispered, but it came out broken, almost pleading. I know, he murmured, his voice low, close enough to feel. Say stop. I didn't dot. It wasn't clumsy. It wasn't rushed. It was quiet, restrained, like we were afraid to break it. Every shift, every touch carried the weight of years of silence, of glances held too long in empty rooms, of wanting something I'd buried so deep I thought it was gone. When he turned me to face him, the glow from the clock hit his face. He looked younger than he should have, but older than I remembered. His thumb brushed my cheek slow and careful, like he didn't believe this was real. I can't stop thinking about you, he whispered. His forehead rested against mine, and for a second the whole world felt small enough to hold between us. I didn't plan to do this, but I stopped planning anything a long time ago. We didn't speak when it ended. My hands were shaking so badly I had to steady myself against the counter. His breathing was uneven, his fingers still resting on my hip like he couldn't let go. The sound of a key turning in the front door. My chest froze. He pulled back fast, his face tense, and we both stood there in the dark kitchen, breathless and guilty, listening as the door unlocked. You're still up, David called casually, setting his keys in the bowl by the door. Couldn't sleep, I said. Just making tea. Obina stepped back into the shadows. I didn't look at him. I couldn't. David kissed my cheek absently as he passed, barely noticing the tension in the air. Then he went upstairs. The faint creak of the floorboards above. This felt like a reprieve I hadn't earned. I didn't breathe again until Obina slipped out through the back door without a word. I leaned on the counter, gripping the edge until my knuckles ached. The days after blurred, but every small moment felt sharper. At the office, when Obina stopped by to see his father, he lingered near my desk just a little too long. At home, when he dropped off tools or folders, our fingers brushed in ways that made my chest tighten. One night, in the laundry room, he walked in quietly with a box. His shirt clung to his chest from the summer heat, his hair damp from a shower. You're still up? He asked, always something to do. I murmured. He placed the box on the dryer. Did you sleep last night? Not really, I admitted. Me. Neither. He moved closer, and for a moment our hands almost touched. But we didn't. That restraint became its own kind of intimacy. Later, my husband's sister dropped by. She eyed us standing near each other in the kitchen and said, "You two seem close." Her voice was light, but the edge was there. "He's practically family," I said quickly. Obina stayed quiet. That night, I lay beside David, his soft snoring in the background, and stared at the ceiling with tears drying on my cheeks. I didn't mean for this to happen. I didn't mean for him to matter, but he did. He texted me the next day. "We need to talk tonight," I replied. That night, the house was still. David had gone to bed early. I stood in the kitchen, heart pounding. The back door opened. Obina stepped in. He didn't say anything, just looked at me like he was memorizing every detail. His eyes swept over my face, down my arms, pausing at my trembling hands. He stepped closer, slow and certain. "We shouldn't," I whispered. "Then tell me to go." I didn't. His hands braced on either side of me. His forehead leaned into mine. We kissed slow at first, then deeper, hungrier, desperate. His hands found my waist. Mine twisted into his shirt like I'd been waiting years for this. He lifted me onto the counter. My legs wrapped around him instinctively. It was quiet, careful, but intense. Like we'd imagined this moment 100 different ways. When it ended, we stayed close, our foreheads pressed, our breathing heavy. Then the creak of floorboards above us. We froze. "Who's down there?" David's groggy voice called from upstairs. "Just me," I said quickly. "Getting water." Silence. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Go back to bed." Only when the bedroom door clicked shut again did Abina speak. "This is going to get us caught," he whispered. "Then why are you still here?" I whispered back, my hand still gripping his shirt. He didn't answer. He just kissed me once hard, fast, like it was the last time, because I can't stay away. Then he slipped out the back door, and I stood there alone, trembling, staring. Into the dark, I climbed the stairs quietly. David's soft breathing filled the bedroom. I slipped under the covers and lay there awake, listening to the rain begin against the windows. I didn't mean for it to happen. I didn't mean for him to matter. But for one night, I remembered how it feels to be touched like I'm still me.